Hi, my name is Veronica, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. How did that one do?
That was very good. Do it just maybe one or two more, okay? Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Bill Haney, he did an interview, I believe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, with Ike. And he talked about how he had a conversation with Gary Russell live, where he asked Gary Russell, he said, didn't we give you everything that you wanted on that contract? And Gary Russell replied by saying, no, you didn't. So Bill came back and said, what else did you want? And as soon as Bill asked Gary that question, Gary actually left the live and he never came back. So it wasn't like he got disconnected or something like that. He completely left the live and he has not said anything about this fight ever since that happened. And you know, the crazy thing is I was about to originally title this video, Where is Gary Russell? Because no one has heard from him since he had that conversation with Bill Haney, like about 3 or 4 days ago. But the funny thing is, right when I was about to make this video, all of a sudden, someone sends me this picture right here, this image that Devin Haney just coincidentally put up on his Instagram. A wanted picture of Gary Russell while calling him a duck. And the caption reads, Mr. Cap, man, you can run, but you can't hide. So once again, this all stems from that conversation that Bill Haney and Gary Russell had when they went live discussing the fight. And Bill Haney said, since then, I haven't heard from him at all. In fact, something else Bill said that was really interesting is he's been sending text messages to Gary. He's been calling him, he's been texting him, and Gary Russell is not responding. Not only is Gary Russell not responding, but he doesn't even have some manager or something that can respond on his behalf. And this is something I'm really not understanding. Why would you be ignoring conversations with the people that you're actually supposed to be negotiating with to make this fight come to fruition? And like I just said, guys, once again, even if Gary Russell himself didn't want to actually talk to Bill Haney or Devin Haney anymore, he could have had someone on his behalf. I'm talking about a manager, not just some fan. I'm talking about someone who can actually negotiate the terms on Gary Russell's behalf. So for boxing fans, that's not a good sign. When you have one party who doesn't even want to talk about making the fight anymore. And this is so out of character for Gary Russell because usually Gary Russell is the boogeyman. Usually Gary Russell is aggressively calling out everyone. And Gary Russell has had a lot of people avoid him. That's why it's surprising to me for Gary Russell to be in his early 30s and he's not showing the eagerness to do whatever it takes to make this fight come to fruition. I would have expected Gary to be doing all of the calling and texting and let's get this deal signed. He's not doing any of that. And once again, the reason why I tell you this is so out of character for Gary Russell because it was only back in April of this year that he announced his big move to 135 and he called out everybody at 135. He called out Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Devin Haney. And it's crazy because out of all those fighters, the only person who responded right away was who? It was Devin Haney. You fast forward to present day, now Devin Haney is telling Gary Russell you can run but you can't hide. Now they're actually calling Gary Russell and not getting any response. No text messages back. Can't get him on the phone. And then what's even crazier is while Gary Russell is silent right now and he's not saying anything, you got fans actually making excuses for him that he's not making himself, which I really don't understand. Matter of fact, something else that Bill Haney just said in a recent interview, something that blew his mind and really blew my mind. Bill Haney said when he was debating or going back and forth live with Gary Russell, and Gary Russell dipped out of the live and never came back after Bill Haney asked him, what else did you want on that contract? Bill said the guy that had him and Gary live talking to each other, this person on YouTube actually re-uploaded a video, the same video of Gary Russell and Bill Haney going back and forth, but the uploader actually removed the part where Bill Haney was asking Gary Russell, what didn't we put on the contract that you wanted? This guy actually removed it. I couldn't believe it when I heard this, man. I couldn't believe anybody would do this. The thing is, if you want people to know the truth in everything that's going on, why would you remove any part of a conversation between Bill Haney and Gary Russell? The two most important people that we need to hear from, and you're removing parts of the interview to try to make Gary Russell look better? You shouldn't have to burn bridges just to try to make someone else look better. I mean, if there's nothing to hide, then you shouldn't have to remove any part of the conversation between Bill Haney and Gary Russell. It's called integrity. So guys, unfortunately, I don't know if this fight is gonna happen. This could be a great fight. I mean, this is kind of like on some Pernell Whitaker versus Buddy McGirt type stuff. The young slickster versus the older, more experienced slickster. It will really be unfortunate if this fight doesn't happen. And I think it would be more unfortunate for Gary Russell, because Gary Russell has already gone years and years looking for a marquee opponent. And there's no guarantee when he's going to get that opponent. It may take another 3 years for him to get a name as big as Devin Haney. Not saying that Devin has the biggest name in boxing, but compared to the opponents that Gary Russell has been facing outside of JoJo Diaz, he hasn't been able to get these names in the ring, at least not consistently. Not without big gaps in his career, 4 years, 5 years. And that wasn't Gary Russell's fault. It was because nobody wanted to fight him. It didn't matter if it was a top-ranked fighter, if it was a Mayweather fighter, if it was a DAZN fighter. No one wanted to fight Gary Russell because he was just that good. I mean, the fact that Gary Russell called out everyone at 135 and the only one that responded was Devin Haney, that alone proves the point that I'm making. This is how hard it's going to be for Gary Russell if he lets this opportunity pass him by. Hopefully this fight happens, guys. That's all I got for now. I'm on to the next one. And one more thing, guys. I want to say thanks to everyone that went out and got your Block TV so you can watch the pay-per-views, you can watch all your movies and all of that. The reason I'm thanking you guys is because Block TV just reached out to me and they told me how happy and satisfied they are with all of the traffic that's coming from my channel, copying the Block TV. So if you guys haven't got it yet, you definitely need to get it. I always say on this channel, pay-per-view fights should actually be free. And now the day has come where I'm about to hook you up with an app where you can watch all your pay-per-view events, boxing, UFC, etc. for free. I want to introduce Block TV, the best internet streaming television app out there. They provide over 3,600 channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Stars. They have a massive video on demand library with over 40,000 of the new release movies and the latest TV series. And it also includes DVR. So you're getting all of this for $34.99 a month. And once again, that includes free pay-per-view. So this one right here is a no-brainer, guys, because back in Las Vegas, I was paying damn near $200 a month for my cable. Those days are long gone now. So to get the app, make sure you guys go over to getblocktv.com and put in my promo code and get 30% off your first month. You also get a free month for every friend you refer. The promo code is DBNation. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Basically, you will end up with a haircut shape up or an edge up. What they do is they tattoo small dots that look like hair follicles in the areas where you have lost your hair and then blend it with your existing hair. You can even choose what type of hairline you want, hard shape up or soft and natural finish. And to maintain it, all you gotta do is shave your hair every few days, which is something you already were probably doing anyway. So if you wanna get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. And when you go on their pages, you can see for yourself what these guys look like before. I mean, these guys are literally hair magicians. I've never seen anything like this before, but all I can tell you guys is this a serious game changer for us men. So make sure you get in contact with Scalp This and Scalp Carolinas on Instagram.